Hello everyone, BigDosses here and welcome to another video. In this video we are looking at a Spires of Ascension 19 I did earlier as a Beast Mastery Hunter. There should be a poll in the top left, right corner of the screen with the poll I did earlier with you guys, and you guys asked me to review do a Spires of Ascension, so I did. And we're gonna talk about how the dungeon goes, certain mechanics, and what to look out for. So this week it's Sanguine and Storming. Sanguine is a bit of more, it's kind of a tank issue, but there is something that we can do to play around with it as well. Also, we are playing Venthyr, because the last few times I played Nightfey, I really like the burst of Nightfey, but some of you guys asked me about Venthyr as well, and if it is something that I like, and I do enjoy the playstyle, although I think it is weaker than Nightfey at the moment, and well, we're gonna see in 9.2, but I'm afraid Nightfey will be better. But yeah, we're doing some Venthyr Covenant ability, or some Venthyr content. We are also running the Venthyr Legendary as well. And right off the bat, the Forsworn Mender, as you could see there, had a cost which should be interrupted because it heals the entire party. So it's important to make sure that you kick that. But I was talking earlier about Sanguine and how it actually involves our playstyle. Because usually I would suggest you guys to run with Binding Shot. And at the point of recording this video, I actually ran with Binding Shot, not thinking about it properly beforehand. But Binding Shot is not so useful this week. And why is that? The problem with Binding Shot this week is you usually want to do it at the end of the pool. And why is that? Because your tank will need to kite by then, because he will have problems with his defensives are on cooldown, and so he will need to kite the second part of the pool. And you will throw a Binding Shot, they will get rooted, the tank will get safely away, nice easy peasy. But with Sanguine, if you root them and they will be stunned or rooted in place for 7 seconds while one of them dies or two of them die, they all heal back to full, which is kind of shitty. So you don't want to do that. So you want to be careful or cognizant. Is that the word? Maybe it's the word, I don't know. You want to think about not using your Binding Shot at the end of the pool, but you're not really gonna use it at the start of the pool. Why is that? Because the tank will go in, he will have his mindset on using CDs in a certain order, or he should have at least, and by then he's just gonna stand there and face tank them, or he is gonna walk away and he's gonna waste his own CDs. So unless you are on comms with the tank, don't bother using Binding Shot as much. In this pool there you have the Forsworn Doctrine. It started to heal the group again. I should have been a little bit quicker with my Intimidation or my Frost Trap. If I could have used that as well to interrupt that cost. The Forsworn Goliath, of course, is the target to watch out for, because he has this massive cost which stuns everyone. No, not stuns everyone. Just damages the group. So you want to kick that as well. In this run also I am running with the Mage as a party member. We are friends, so we run this together. So we are on comms on that one. And here, yeah, a bit awkward. I got hit by one of those orbs. Should not have done that. It is boss week, so it's important to, be mindful that these bosses hit quite a lot harder. So I should have watched out more for the mechanics of this boss. But I survived first, so we're fine on that one. Guys, if this is something that you like this content, or if there's something else you want me to do or talk about more, then let me know down in the comments. I also, if you like it, consider leaving a like and or subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton, and I love the feedback that you guys are giving me. I think you guys are giving a lot of good vibes, and it feels great. You guys are, very, I don't know the English word. You give a lot of compliments, and I'm very happy about that. But if there is something that I should change or I can do differently, then by all means, please tell me. Because I can't grow if you guys don't give me any feedback. Something that I'm running currently as a Venthyr hunter as well, I'm running the Conduit, which if I crit on a Beast Cleave, not Beast Cleave, sorry, Kill Command. If I crit on a Kill Command, the cooldown will be reduced of my Aspect of the Wild. I don't know if that is actually the best Conduit, because I think there is one I could be running where my Bestial Rat just increases the overall damage, which is better. But I like this one because I think Venthyr has just... your cooldowns are back up so quickly, so it's nice to just make use of it. Here I got hit again, so I used my Exhilaration. I also decided to use my Health Pot and my Warlock Stone to make sure that I get back on track and my HP is fine. This fight always takes so long, but we're getting our way through it. Doing alright single target damage. It's not the best, but we're doing fine. We're doing fine. I like the Warlock portal there. I don't usually see a lot of Warlocks, to be honest. The tank didn't decide to click it, but this one I think is a nice placement to make it easier for the tank. Here I also decide not to use my binding shot. And why is that? Because these Ether divers usually die really quick. It is not going so quick right now, but usually they die really quick, and they do leave Sanguine. And those Forsworn skirmishers, they stand in place. They don't really move all that much. So as you can see there, one in the puddle, he's doing hurl. He's not getting out of the puddle by himself. So that is a bit shitty. Because they leap away eventually. Either the entire party needs to line of sight them, or we need to use some sort of knockback. So if, for example, if we were marksman hunter here, we could use our explosive shot to knock him out. But yeah, we are not. And we don't have a knockback as a hunter, or beast mastery hunter. We had back in the day where we can use our explosive shot to knock them back. But, not explosive shot, explosive trap. That was one. I missed that one. It was a lot of fun. But we can't use that right now. So yeah. What you can do here, just use your flare to help the tank get those mobs out. Because if they come out while the tank pulls them, he gets stunned. He will instantly get like 6 bleeds from the Forsworn stealth claws. Usually ends up with your tank dying, which is very awkward. So yeah, try and pay attention to that. And it's something you can easily use. What I could be doing, but the tank is already kiting quite nicely, I can be throwing down my tar trap to slow the mobs down, but you don't really want to slow them all too much, because you don't want to make them walk through Sanguine very slowly. You want them to get through it and go to the place where, yeah, they can do it. Yeah, they can walk out of the Sanguine. That was a very difficult sentence for no apparent reason. Here I also always throw my flare because I want to reveal that stealth claw as well, because that one can still, if your tank awkwardly pulls one with like a taunt or something and just walks in, you will still get stunned. Usually your tank will charge in and do an AoE attack revealing him, but if he does not for some reason, then yeah, that can be a bit awkward. So you can just reveal it as a BM hunter with your flare, and there should be no problem at all. So guys, are you also excited for 9.2? And what is your plan? Is there something that are you wanting to play BM, or is there something entirely different that you want to play in 9.2? And what do you guys think about 9.2 and the governance? Which one do you think will be the best, and which one do you think will be the worst? I don't know. This is a bit awkward. Everyone used their interrupt except for the Warlock. And so, yeah, hopefully we have a kick for this. We have a kick for this, but our Shaman didn't use it. So there I used my Feign Death, because I have a conduit for the Feign Death, of course, to reduce damage. So I used my Feign Death there to survive through the damage a little easier. What I could have been doing as well is just using my Survival of the Fittest, which I'm not using enough, if you ask me. I should be using it more. I'm not doing that. Here I'm holding on to my Flayed Shot because I want to use it on this pack, and I instantly use it on the Dark Predator. And why is that? Because, well, I want my kill shots to be rolling. They are not rolling. There we have them, finally. To put the dots on the mobs. But yeah. And this spool is also going quite smoothly. And then for some reason I decided to, yeah, let's turn around, disengage, but I turned around too far, aiming myself against the wall, doing this nice little jump, which didn't do shit, but okay, we managed to get across. Our healer was the Kyrian here. At the start of the dungeon I thought that I was supposed to be going Kyrian before we entered, because we didn't have one. Eventually we luckily had one. Here on the Forsworn, yeah, the Forsworn champion, you can see there was a buff above his head that he was holding like a magical weapon of some sort. If you manage to use your tranquilizing shot on him, or the mage has an ability to remove it as well, there will fall a weapon on the ground which your melee can pick up. It doesn't work for ranged, sadly, but your melee can pick it up and they will do like more damage. Here I use my stun for the very simple reason that I wanted to, how do you say this? I wanted to prevent that mob from jumping back into like a puddle of sanguine and started healing up. So I decided to do that. Our Shaman had the spear, but he was very late on using it. The tank wanted to have the spear already. The Shaman didn't do it, and now this is awkward because the mobs are dying and they are speared, so they're not gonna move anywhere. So this entire double pull was for nothing because we simply used our spear too late. We either should have speared at the start or like not do a double pull, something like that. What I should be doing is kicking the mob in the back so he starts moving forward, like the one that doing the dark lash. I have my interrupt ready, I should be kicking that one. I am holding it for the Goliath in case that he is gonna do his annoying thing, but then I see that almost everyone has their kick up, so I can start using it. Alright. So here I used my stun. That was not a great idea because I stunned him into the puddle of sanguine. So this pool was a bit messy because we just didn't use the weapons properly. But yeah, sometimes that shit happens as well. But at the end of the dungeon, guys, we're gonna do a breakdown of my damage. Because for this, there are some things that I could do better in this run. And you will see at the end of the dungeon something that I think I did not do enough. But we're gonna see that at the end of the dungeon. So yeah. Here, always kill the squad leader first. Why is that? Because the squad leader gives a damage reduction towards the other mobs around him. So you want to actually focus him unless he is like far away from the mob. The other mobs, then you can DPS them as well. Always and always still make sure that your barb shot is on all the targets. Still spread them out. Don't like, for example, in that situation, where we only had 2 mobs, don't go and put only a barbed shot on the champion or the squad leader. You still want to dot both, because it will do more damage in the long run. I target the squad leader as well for my Venthyr ability. And why is that? That is because I want to make sure that the buff is running for the longest period of time. Forsworn Doctrine, make sure that you kick it. There we have it. And there was another buff with a weapon. Make sure you can interrupt or use your tranquilizing shot to remove that as well. So now I'm looking for the highest health target. I can see it in the left. And so I put my Venthyr Flate Shot on him, because I know it will keep on going for longer that way. Also, when looking at this route, and I'm currently playing a lot of Protection Paladin as well, because, well, I don't raid on my... I actually don't raid, and I've done everything I can on my Hunter, and I'm like full Mythic plus geared. Yeah, this was a bit awkward, because I assumed we're gonna reset. And this is... why did I assume that? First off, most of the groups do it, but that's a bad reason. But secondly, we just did a giant pool, right? Yeah, we did a big pool. Probably everyone would have used their cooldowns to do damage then. Yeah, you guys agree with me, I think. Because it's a good pool to use your cooldowns on. For us, it's not so important, because we get our cooldowns back fairly quickly. But for the rest, it is important to have their cooldowns. Then, what you want to do is you want to do the Tormented. And why do you want to do the Tormented? Because it will give you time to reset your cooldowns. Because you don't really need them on the Tormented one. And so you do the big pool, then you do the Tormented to get your cooldowns back, and then you go this guy. You don't go this guy and then the Tormented. That's just not so smart. The same thing, and that is also something that happened earlier in the dungeon. If for some reason you guys to tank, what you want to do is you do the first like mobs, the first platform. At the start of the dungeon, you do the first platform. Everyone would have used their cooldowns. And what you want to do, by the time that you go across, you don't want to do the Tormented. You first want to do the pack, because everyone's cooldowns are back. You will use your cooldowns. Next, you will do the Tormented, because then you will have your cooldowns back, almost back, for the boss again. This saves so much time, and I'm trying to learn that as a tank. Because I now know, although BM is a bit shitty on this front, but I now know when my cooldowns are back or not. And so I know how important it is to make sure that I do pools as a tank, where I make sure that everyone can use their cooldowns. This route is very awkward on that front. Sadly, our healer died 3 times in this fight, and here I assumed we're gonna skip this guy, because, well, yeah, he only slows, so he's not that big of a deal for the last boss. And the last boss, when he flies away in that phase, you can still just be fine, because when he flies away, the Tormented FX doesn't bother the party, because the distance is too big. So you can easily skip this guy. He's not that important. But this tank decided to still do this guy, but only after the boss. So I think this is not such a great route. And if I would have tanked this dungeon, I would not have done it in this order. But alright. We killed Orlor's Coldheart easily. We do a lot of single target damage, especially as Venthyr, so that's nice. And yeah, on to the next pack.
We sacrifice because we must. Mortal burdens would only.
So guys, if you are still watching this by now, and you like the content, then consider leaving a like and or subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton, and yeah, please do, but only if you like it. Don't do it if it's not something that you care for, because then in the long run it won't help me out either. So yeah, and now we're gonna go to the Forsworn Hellion. In my mind, this pull last week, this pull was terrible, and so I think I'm gonna say it now, like, don't double pull this. Yeah, because Executioner Varuth makes it so that you will heal less, or you gain less healing. And the Hellion does a lot of single target damage. But our tank decided to do double pull it anyway, and as you will see, it was the right call to pull them both, because this is going fine. Here I'm being targeted and I didn't jump away, so what I decided to do is just turtle the damage to make sure that our healer didn't have to struggle through my damage as well. And I should also be standing in the shade of those two little guys, but yeah, to gain more increased mastery. Could have paid a little more attention to it. Well, besides that, this guy is pretty straightforward. Here we get targeted, and now I'm focusing, and on the exact right moment I managed to feign that, to make sure that I also didn't let him charge someone else. It was a bit lucky. We of course go for Dagger of Necrotic Wounding. It's boss week, and so we want that. But yeah, here I also always remove my pets. And why is that? Ooh, did you guys see? I almost fell off because I'm a fucking noob. I remove my pets because they will then walk around and sometimes pull the mobs down there. And here I'm just waiting for the Warlock Portal. That saves me a invis skip.
You approach a powerful servant of the jailer.
On this week I wouldn't suggest skipping this guy, because the last boss will already deals quite a lot of damage. If you for some reason manage to not dodge the spear attack or something, if you skip this guy, then you are 100% you must dodge the spear, because if you get hit you get instantly one shot. So that's not something that you want to happen. Some nice little procs there, which is also always nice. And on this one we almost always go for the stone ward, and why is that? It's just a nice shield which gives great healing. So just gonna skip, stand behind the pillar so we don't get like all hurled and stuff, and yeah. These are going not down so nicely. Wait, what the fuck happened there? Let's do it like that. It was a bit awkward, but it's back. And we instantly go into the boss. Now, this differs on if you play Night Fae or like Venthyr, for example. I am popping all my CDs right now. And why is that? Because my CDs are on a very short timer. And so I feel like I can have them back for when he does his like charge thing. You guys know that? Where he we get 1 round of orbs, and then he will start like connecting those orbs. And in that phase where he is collecting those orbs, he takes increased damage. So you want your cooldowns for that moment. If we are Night Fae, for example, we want our there you see it, recharge anima. I don't know why he instantly does it now. Sometimes there is time between. Wait. Alright, I'm back. For some reason my mic fell out on my headset. But yeah, I'm back. I don't know why he suddenly did that, but what you want to do is use your cooldowns for that. And if you are Night Fae, then you will hold on to that phase. But as Venthyr, you have them back so quickly that it's fine. It's fine to instantly use it. Now I don't know which way we're going. I don't know the routing this tank is taking. I don't know why we're going this way. I'm at this point talking to the mage that I'm actually afraid that we're gonna reset the boss. I don't know if it is possible like this, but I'm afraid that that is something that would happen, because the tank is slowly dragging him more and more like that way. I decided to drop my orb behind this because the tank is kiting that way, so I want the orbs to have more travel time before hitting the boss. And as you will shortly see, I think that is the correct call, because this tank is not soaking them so great. So yeah, it's good that there is like a little bit of distance in between. Also there, I don't know if you watched it, but I let my barbed shots or my frenzy stacks drop just a little too much over the course of the entire dungeon. I think that is something that I could look out for more, because yeah, here he does his recharge anima again. I just made sure that I stood in the way. I can actually turtle this and soak it, but I don't really want to turtle and soak because I want to do as much damage as I can in this phase. And there we go. Easy peasy. Tank almost died because he has 10 stacks, but we managed to survive. And we go into the Forsworn Usurpers. Now, as you can see, these guys trickle in very slowly, and one is already almost down. So this was a bit awkward, because now there will be sanguine puddles, and there's an AoE stun. Luckily, we have a bear druid, which is amazing on this. He has a nice knockback. Everything is all in well. Everything is good. Now we have 10 minutes left for 3 ads and 1 boss, so on time we're, I think, pretty good. We're fine. The warlock is doing pretty nice damage. Our damage is 8.6k overall at the moment. It's not the best, but it is higher on single target, and Spires does have a lot of single target situations. For example, these mobs, the tormentors, of course, the bosses. And this dungeon in general doesn't have that many amazing big pools, or at least it feels like that for me. But I also really dislike this dungeon, so maybe I'm not giving it all the credits, but yeah. Here we can easily kill this guy. We have all our cooldowns up, and yeah, it is pretty easy. Our Flade Shot is coming back off cooldown. We instantly use it because yeah, it only has a 30-second cooldown, so it's worth using the moment you can. And we go on to the next one. we carried over our Flade Shot proc, or our Kill Shot proc from the last one, and so we instantly use it here to give this guy, because of the legendary that we're using, a debuff or a dot, which is pretty nice. Here, always the spears are a bit awkward to dodge, but yeah, we got it. We got it perfectly fine. We didn't get any spears thrown on ourselves, so we didn't have to move all the way. Now I'm holding my cooldowns now because the last one is quite difficult, and I have almost everything up. I don't have Beast of Wrath up. So that is a bit awkward, but we're gonna get Beast of Wrath off cooldown pretty quickly, I think. So there we have it, just a couple of barbed shots, and we have our Beast of Wrath. And on the outer edges of the spear, we managed to grab this guy, and we're killing him nice and quickly again. And this is the power, I think, of Beast Mastery Hunter, especially Venthyr. On single target, Venthyr is just incredibly powerful. And that's nice. So that is some really strong points for 9.2, I think. Although the Nightfear Legendary is also one that I think will be a big contender. Here you can see I have my Kill Shot proc, and it's almost running out. So I decided to pull for the tank, which is not a nice move, but I just really wanted to use my proc, and so I did. It's not okay though. Don't be like this. Don't do that. It's not nice for your tank. I can see the Warlock cookies. I think I'm gonna pick them up soon, just in case I need them. But yeah. This fight always takes quite a lot of time, and it's not even so hard. You just need to understand the mechanics, make sure that you dodge. Easy peasy, that's all. Just don't get hit by that. What I could be doing, oh, there I did it. Oh, that's quite a coincidence. I was thinking about it while watching it back, and apparently while I was playing it I was thinking about the same time to use Hunter's Mark on this guy to reduce Devil's overall damage. Now, for the first one, you can use your aspect of the cheetah to make sure that you run in quickly, and then I usually start dodging. I should train more on throwing the spears, to be honest. I don't do that often enough because I don't contribute anything to that part of the dungeon, so I should be throwing the spear, I think. But yeah, what you can do when you throw the spear is, like, because he moves every once in a while, is already look to if he just moved, because if you click the spear and you saw him just move and be put, then you can instantly throw the spear. But if you don't know when the last time it was that he actually moved, then it's better to hold the spear until he has moved again, or she has moved again, and then throw it. We are lucky on our procs, so that's always nice. Yeah. And as you can see, we have 10 stacks of our Dagger of Necrotic Wounding just ticking upon the boss, which is incredible because it deals quite a lot of damage. There, the mage almost died. Luckily he had Ice Block to live through that phase. And here I'm just standing in the shade to gain increased mastery, and not stand in the shield already, because, well, I knew Devils was gonna go into this phase as well, and I could easily just walk there if the explosion was actually coming. Again, here I'm not contributing anything, so I decided to turtle to reduce the damage and not gain extra stacks. Like if you already have stacks of that seed, then those will still tick, but if you use turtle right away, then you're you won't get any extra stacks. So that's something that you could do. And yeah, that is pretty much it. That's the end of the fight. I hope you guys liked it. And if you guys watched it all the way to the end, well then I think that you should subscribe and like the video. And if you have any feedback for me, then please leave it in the comments. I could definitely use it. Well, that was the end of the dungeon, and let's see, we did actually get the Philosopher Bow, which is a way lower item level than the bow I'm currently using, but with the perfect stats. So I finally got the bow, which took me the entirety of, I think, 9.0.5 and 9.1 and 9.1.5. Alright, so damage breakdown, and I'm gonna pause the video here. Damage breakdown, as you can see, barbed shot is number 1, which means that I managed to spread out my barbed shots very well, so that's okay. Kill shot and pouch of the razor fragments are pretty high as well, which is also fine. The thing that is wrong, and which I told you guys earlier in the video, looking back on this, what I did wrong, my beast cleave is on 5th position, which means I was not using multi-shot enough for using beast cleave scenarios. And although there was a lot of single target fighting, I still think that beast cleave should have been above Cobra shot at least. So that is something that I now can see that I should have done better in this video, in this run. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.